Hi, I'm Florian Pistoni. I'm the co-founder and CEO of InOrbit. We are the leading platform for robot operations, or as we call it, RobOps. So what we do is we're a data platform to manage the complexity of running robots at scale in the real world. So when a robot leaves the lab and enters the real world, it discovers that the world is chaotic and there's people, there's other vehicles in the same space, and it gets pretty complex. So we make that very simple. We know what the robot is doing, we know if it's in trouble, and then we help the robot complete its mission by intervening if necessary. Robot operations is more than actually fleet management. Fleet management is very basic, but we go well beyond that. So it goes everything from knowing what's wrong with a robot, something called root cause analysis, to finding incidents. So an incident is something that maybe requires some level of attention or some action. And you can define an incident in a very flexible way through a small, almost like a small coding language. So you can create an incident, for example, that says, if this robot is supposed to be taking a load from this area to that area, and now it's been stuck for more than 60 seconds. We first recognize that there's a problem. We notify someone or a system to solve it automatically. And then we solve the problem and get it back rolling and to complete its mission. Once you have data in the system, you want to know when there's a problem, why it happened. So that's called root cause analysis. So InOrbit has advanced tools for root cause analysis, including something we call time capsule, which allows you to replay the time leading up to and following an incident. We actually work with two different types of customers. We have the robot developers. These are the people who are making great, wonderful robots, but there's a lot of work that goes into it that's not the robot itself. It's the software to make it work. And you can imagine most robots run on battery. Detecting that the battery is going to run out is something that everyone has to deal with. So we provide that common infrastructure to help the robots do what they're supposed to do. We like to call it maximizing the potential of every robot. On the end user side, these are the people who are not making the robots, but they're deploying robots at their factory, at their warehouse, maybe at a hospital, at a retail store. In all those cases, the robot has a job to do. It may be moving items from one area to another, it may be cleaning the floor. What we do is we help the end users make sure that their investment, their spend on robots, actually maximizes the return for them. And they care about productivity, they care about efficiency. So depending on whether you are on the robot developer side or on the end user side, we can add different value for you. So I think what we find in the industry, there's a lot of reinventing of the wheel. What we do is we help robot developers focus on their secret sauce. Focus on what's really unique about the robot, and then work with us to get some of the basic infrastructure for robot operations done. Now, every robot is a little different. So as a software developer, you can use our APIs, you can use our SDKs, you can use a lot of the developer tools that we offer to build on top of that. In fact, we just launched the developer edition. So this is a way to get access to the full value of the InOrbit platform in a very easy to use package. You can get started, you can cover the first few robots, and then we'll work with you as you scale. Yeah, so you can actually get started for free on InOrbit, and it's free forever for unlimited robots. There's no catch. And you can get a lot of the basics covered that way. You can get all of the observability for what robots are doing. And you can use it forever. What we find is some companies, they outgrow that and they want to go beyond. And then we have our standard edition, which is very flexible. It's a per robot, per month fee. So it's very transparent, there's no hidden fees. And once you start growing your fleet, You can add more functionality, or you can, we can even work with you to discount if you have a large fleet. InOrbit Connect is a program that we launched to remove the friction of having robot developers and end users working together. So essentially what we do is, as a robot developer, you can work with us and get your robot certified, and then we can do that in very different ways. But essentially what that guarantees is that it will work and get along well with other robots that are also InOrbit Connect certified. Now, as an end user, you can go to directory.inorbit.ai. That's our robot directory for finding companies, and there you'll find all the InOrbit Connect certified companies. Let's say you're an end user and you find robot developer A and robot developer B, and you want to put them together. So it's very easy to get those robots connected to InOrbit because they're pre-integrated with our platform and certified to work together. Once they're together, now you can do really interesting things. For example, you can orchestrate the work of all these robots. So when we talk about orchestration, we like to talk about the 3 C's: coexistence, coordination, and collaboration. So the idea is coexistence is the basics. You have multiple robots in one space. They just need to get along. We support that for all of our robots, and through InOrbit Connect, it's very easy to plug them in. With coordination, now what you can do is you can have multiple robots working together. So for example, if you have an AGV that's moving around on a protected lane, you have an AMR that's trying to cross that lane, you don't want to have traffic jams or collisions. So what we do is, through our platform, we can know if there's a free area to cross and there's no AGV that's about to enter that area. So that way, you can have more complex coordination of activities. And a warehouse is a busy place and a dynamic place, so this gives you a lot of flexibility. Then we get to the third and more advanced C, which is collaboration. Can you have different robots from different vendors working together to complete a more advanced mission? So you may have a forklift, an autonomous forklift, bring a pallet, drop it off for a depalletizing arm to then break it up and put individual packages on individual AMRs. And that could be working from different vendors, and it gives people a lot of flexibility. So there's a lot of activity in the industry around interoperability. The idea is it's the technical mechanism to have different robots speaking the same language. Once you have that capacity for everyone to speak the same language, now you can do interesting things on top of it. So, for example, today we showed working with a company called Locus, one of the better known companies out there with AMRs, using the mass robotics interoperability standard in combination with another robot from another company, Mir, that uses the InOrbit Edge SDK. So we're able to combine these two platforms in one place. To do that, one of the things you need to do is they need to know where every robot is. Each robot is going to build its own view of the world, its own map. So for example, imagine if you have a very low to the ground robot, it's going to have sensors that see things at low level. If you have a forklift, it needs to see that it's not going to, get entangled in a cable. So they're each going to get a different view of the world. So with mass robotics and with InOrbit, each robot can maintain its own view of the world, but then we can bring them together in a single map. So there's a little bit of work that you do once, which is both have to have the same frame of reference, but after that, it's as if they were, just on the same map. We've been talking about this idea of interoperability kind of in the abstract for a long time. A lot of companies have been saying it. So what was really palpable today is during the demo, there was a throng of people several people deep, trying to catch a glimpse of what was going on in the demo. And I mean, you could feel from all the questions that came in and all the excitement that this was something that people have been asking for and waiting for some time. So be able to see it live in person instead of like in theory is a big change.